services participants. And I'm not going to waste any time, but we'll go ahead and turn it over to Amber Ferrell, which is our counselor that has agreed to present our workshop for us today. So appreciate her coming. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys coming in, even if it was because Mr. Cocky dragged you guys. Y'all didn't have much choice in the matter, but y'all still showed up.
I did the dragging.
All right, even if your friend, who's obviously a good friend, dragged you here. Yeah, like Ms. Morgan said, I'm one of your counselors here, so very nice to meet y'all. I think most of you I've seen at some point or another or interacted with. But
Asian.
nice to meet you. So we're going to talk a little bit about learning styles, and then I do have a little questionnaire for you guys to figure out what your learning styles are. Have y'all ever gone to any type of workshop before where you learned about your learning style? No? No? Awesome. Have you been to one before? Or do you know what your learning style is? No? Okay, awesome. I like that, because usually, like most workshops that I give, students have found out what their learning style is. So this will be like brand new, fresh information for y'all. So what is a learning style? I know y'all have heard of those before. So basically, what is that? When we talk about like learning styles.
Where if it's visually or
There we go.
visual,
Yeah. Yeah. So the three sort of main types of learning styles are visual, right? So obviously seeing the material, right? The information in like a class. Or auditory, so that would be what? Listening, like hearing the information. Or then kinesthetic is usually kind of the third main learning style. So hands-on, yeah. So do y'all already, just from hearing those descriptions, kind of know which one you think you might be more like?
of them.
All of them? That's actually good. You don't think you have like a dominant style then?
No.
Okay. All right. How about you?
All of them.
Which one do you think? Out of like visual, auditory, or like kinesthetic or hands-on? Which do you think?
Visual.
Maybe visual? Maybe a more visual learner? Okay. How about for you? Which one do you think?
All of them.
All of them? All right. But yeah, so a learning style, I've got kind of a little definition for you guys, or a quote that I really like a lot. But basically, people take in and process information in different ways, just meaning essentially we all learn differently, right? Would y'all all agree that all of us here in this room, we're all different from each other, right? We've got different styles about us, so it only makes sense that we would learn information in a different way too, right? So basically, learning style can kind of cover like your study method. So when you're at home, right, studying for that big test that you have coming up, everybody has different study methods that they can choose from. Okay, study environment. So maybe you'd rather study, in a library, or maybe you'd rather be in your room, or maybe you'd want to be like in the kitchen, at the kitchen table. That was always like my favorite study place for whatever reason. I like food a lot, so maybe that was part of it. I knew that the fridge was like really close by, but study environment, that's something to consider. And then activities too. So we'll talk a little bit about some different, how your learning style might determine what type of study activities that you kind of pay attention to. Okay, so if y'all want, since we don't have a ton of time, I'll pass these out to y'all briefly. And you got 24 questions there on the very front. There you go. Oh, I gave you, okay, they've got one. You want to figure out what your learning style is? Okay, so for each one of those statements, y'all, you're going to read that statement. So for example, the very first one, I can remember more about a subject through listening rather than reading. So you're going to mark if that statement is often true for you, sometimes, or seldom. Okay, and then you'll go down to the next statement and do the same thing. So often, sometimes, or seldom would just mean not very often. And if you get any statements that you're not exactly sure what they mean, just let me know. I know sometimes, like number 17, learning spelling by finger spelling the word. Sometimes students are like, what is that? But that's if you're, if you had to spell cat, right, and you kind of like wrote it out with your finger, that would be sort of like finger spelling it. So if y'all want me to keep talking a little bit about learning styles as y'all take those, so basically what we'll do, while I know you guys are kind of busy doing that, but I can talk to you a little bit more about learning styles and just learning strategies. And again, if y'all get to one that you're not sure, just let me know. But just to give y'all a few examples of some learning strategy for visual learners, y'all give me a couple actually, just what are some off the top of your head. If you're a visual learner, what would be some ways, like in a classroom setting, that you really might want your instructor to put that information in front of you? Here you go, and then just filling out that little questionnaire there to figure out what type of learning style they are. So what are some ways you can see the information in like a classroom if you were a visual learner? On the board? Yeah, so if your instructor like wrote it out on the board, okay, definitely. What are some other ways? I know she's in my class, so you know your learning style, I hope, right? Okay. What are some other ways that you can see the information?
The PowerPoint.
PowerPoint for sure, right? That's hopefully one I bet that a lot of your instructors use. How about like a chart or a map, right? If you're in maybe like a history class, right, you might have some type of like map on the board to demonstrate where different places are. How about even like flashcards? Do any of y'all use flashcards? So that's definitely a way that you can see the information, but that's also a way that you can kind of move through the information as well. And as y'all finish up those questions on the very first page, what y'all are gonna do, you're gonna flip over to the back page there, and then you guys are just gonna add up your scores, okay? Because that's gonna actually tell you what your learning styles are. Okay, so for example, like number 1, often, seldom, or often, if you put down there an often, you're gonna give yourself like 5 points for number 1. Or if you put sometimes, you'll give yourself 3 points, or seldom, you'll give yourself 1 point. You'll see that, so kind of go through like the different numbers there, and then you'll just kind of add up your scores, and then basically your biggest score in each category will tell you which learning style you lean more toward. Alright, so y'all gave me some good examples of being a visual learner, right? So ways that you can see the information. How about if you're more like an auditory learner? What are some ways that y'all can hear information? When we're think about like a classroom setting, what are ways that you, of course, every class, ways that you hear the information? How about like from your teacher's lecture, right? Okay. Is anybody in a class where your teacher just talks a whole lot?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much so everybody immediately said yes, right? Okay. So some instructors maybe a little bit more than you want them to talk, right? They just kind of lecture on and on for a while. So auditory learners, that would be a way that they receive or understand the information better. Okay, if you end up being an auditory learner, if y'all, I don't know if anybody in here has ever like recorded like with a tape recorder or even on your phone now, a lecture, but that would be a way that you all could record the information and play it back later before a test. Okay. How about if you were a kinesthetic learner? You guys give me a few ways that if you were like really a hands-on learner, what are some ways that you can be kind of hands-on with information or that you can study?
Like by doing like projects and stuff.
Okay, projects, yeah, definitely. There you go. Okay. Because what are ways with projects you're being like hands-on?
I could say like we did in class with the
study games, right? Yeah. So you all were actually busy like creating flashcards or creating study games, right? Busy like creating Venn diagrams or concept maps to help you prepare for the test. Yeah, so what are some other ways that y'all can think of you could be kind of hands-on when you study? You got your scores? Okay. How about just kind of like getting up and walking around while you study, right? I know for me, like I can't stand to sit too long, right? I get kind of antsy. Like I'm more, and you can hold on to that for a second. And I am a more kinesthetic learner, so it's important for me to like take breaks when I'm studying or get up and kind of move around. So, you know, if you're a kinesthetic learner, you want to kind of be just cognizant of that, right? You don't want to always just put yourself in situations where you're hearing the information, where you're seeing the information, but you want to try to interact with it and get hands-on with it as much as possible. Okay. And I know y'all are kind of finishing up your questions there on the front. As y'all are doing that, I've got a little activity I was going to kind of save till the end, but I'll go ahead and break this out for you guys, since some of y'all are done.
Real great.
Are you friends with them too? Yeah? Alright. Alright, y'all, so we're gonna have 3 different categories, right? We're gonna have kinesthetic, we're gonna have auditory, then we're gonna have visual, okay? And I want everybody to take everybody take a couple strips and then pass it around. Maybe 2 or 3 strips and pass it around. Here you go. Take a couple of strips and pass them down.
Why? I didn't do it. I told him what to do. He looked at me like I was crazy, so I said, there you go.
How many get 3?
Yeah. 3's
He
good.
got all those.
You get all the rest. No, I'm just kidding.
You
You
get
get
It's random.
Yeah, just random, whichever.
Get out of
Yeah.
here.
I got mine already.
And I'll take the last 2 maybe, or the last 3. Okay, that worked out good. We didn't even plan that, but everybody gets 3. I like it. All right. So somebody read me one of their little pieces of paper. What does it say?
I'm not reading notes aloud.
All right, let's go one at a time. All right, what did you say for yours?
Visualize an idea.
Okay, so that one's pretty easy, right? So if you're visualizing an idea, which category here does it fall under? All right, that one's pretty easy. The word's like in the fringe, right? All right, so visual learners would want to work on, in a classroom setting, any way that they can visualize an idea, right? So even if you're in a math class, as much as that might be hard to kind of visualize, right? You want to kind of just close your eyes, think about, like, get in your head a way that you can, like, actually visualize that concept or that idea. Okay, somebody read another one that they've got.
PowerPoint.
All right, so which one do you think that belongs in, you guys? So visual, auditory, or kinesthetic?
Is it visual?
Yeah, I think that would be more a visual one. Yeah, because you're seeing the information, right? Okay. Who else got one?
What is kinesthetic?
So hands-on. So any way that you can interact or be hands-on with the information.
He got,
Oh, well,
that's what it was.
what about graphs? I think that's visual as well.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
Alright, I got to build in a model.
All right.
And that's kinesthetic, right?
Kinesthetic? Yes, ma'am. Boom. Okay. What you guys got over there?
I'll listen to podcast.
Listening to podcasts. Definitely auditory, right? You're listening to it.
Read notes aloud.
All right. So what would that one be?
I mean, could be listening. I think so.
Yeah, I would say more auditory.
And what about type notes? Would that be visual or kinesthetic?
What do you think? And some of these can fall into more than one
I say
category.
kinesthetic.
Yeah, I think more kinesthetic, right? Because again, you're kind of involving your body, right? Kind of interacting with it.
I got note taking. Go ahead. Sorry.
I got videos,
All right. So which one would videos be if you were watching a video?
visual,
Yeah, visual.
and
She's got you.
this would be auditory, just sitting in front of class.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
So
not broad. though.
Well, that's kinda like
So
two.
what does that even mean?
you're right. I think it would, and we could put that one kind of in the middle, right? Because if you're, so that would mean you want to make sure that you're sitting in front of the class so that you can both see the information as much as possible, but also hear the information, right? Like from your lectures as much as possible. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that one would be both. What else y'all got? Which one did you just say?
Note taking.
Note taking. So which one do y'all think that would be?
And it's like,
Because you're still like interacting with the information, right? Taking notes. Okay.
Color coding notes.
What do y'all think that one would be?
Kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic. Okay, how about which other one could it possibly fall
Visual.
into?
Yeah, especially because it make you kind of focus on it more than just writing it.
Yeah, that's right. It causes stuff to, she's proud of you.
Oh my God.
It causes the stuff, yeah, like to be more visually appealing, but you're right, I mean, obviously that's an active kind of process too though. Right, I've got taking breaks when studying, so which type would it be really important to take breaks? Kinesthetic, right? Y'all are killing it, man. These are like too easy. I should have made
Be a
these
smart
much more
group, right?
difficult, right?
Yeah.
What about creating a song? I don't know which one.
Here, I believe you got to put your brain to use on top of that.
What do you think?
Good job, bro.
But also auditory, right? If you create a song.
I mean, you
Oh, you
sing
said
it, yeah.
flashcards, okay.
No,
Yeah.
her.
But mine's creating a song though.
Okay.
You can, but that's like you doing some note taking.
But a song, you
Could
listen to it too, right? You hear a
Right,
song.
okay, so you.
So you gonna slap this in the middle right there.
Alright,
You
so
feel
a
like
little
that's
bit of
ain't
both.
wrong? Great. Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe the process.
It
I
is
mean,
handmade
with the bars,
because you
yeah.
gotta do so much with
Yeah.
it, right?
Maybe like the process in the beginning could be
Yeah.
more
It's all
kinesthetic,
three.
but when you're actually singing it, right, it would kind of fall into
It's
more
all-
auditory.
It's all three.
Group.
Alright, we said flashcards were kinesthetic. What do y'all think group study sessions, which one?
To be honest, that threw me for a
Well,
loop.
definitely all of them.
No.
Yeah, I say all of them.
Well,
Yeah.
bam.
I think you're right too.
Yeah.
Definitely kinesthetic, right? Because you're kind of being active in group work, but I mean, you've got probably the visual stuff there, the auditory, of course, because you're listening to each other. Which one do you have?
Recording the lecture. Oh wait.
You go auditory.
Because you're
Okay.
listening to it,
Oh,
right?
right.
No.
So
But yeah, I
for
was
each of these,
thinking-
you want to think like, what sense is involved? What sense am I using the
And you can
most?
close your eyes and record it.
Okay. If
Right.
we're studying while walking, right, which one would that be? Kinesthetic, right? Very hands-on.
Oh,
Okay. How about, we just talked about that a while ago, like if you didn't know a word and you were kind of like doing this to write it out, like finger spelling a word, what would that be?
good.
I was thinking visual and kinesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll maybe put that one down there kind of in the middle. Alright, is that all of them?
Mhm.
Man, you guys did good. Alright. Did everybody finish that and figure out, or at least I know you didn't have time probably to finish yours. But y'all right here, what did y'all find out that your dominant learning style was?
Told you all of them. I got 38, 34, 38.
Okay. So they're all pretty close, but
Yep.
what are your 238s? Visual
And
and kinesthetic?
that
Okay.
sound about right.
Alright. How about for you?
Let me know what this.
I got 26, 34, and 30.
You can't
So your
tell.
biggest one was what, 34?
Mhm.
So the middle one, so maybe more auditory. Okay. Did you have time to finish it?
Yeah, my visual is 37, auditory is 41.
Okay.
Kinesthetic.
Yeah.
Right.
I asked him the same thing,
Your
but he
auditory was
be
41.
listening.
Oh, yeah?
I had to go
He
back
just
to
got
Are you
selected.
calling them out? You don't
Yeah, I ain't
Nah,
even
tell him,
want to
tell him, he
know.
don't remember. I just asked him about that though. I was confused. I said, you sure?
You just set very high standards for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all, I'm proud of my boy. He just sound like that. Come on, he did good.
And I know y'all didn't have time to finish yours.
Oh,
either,
mine was
right?
kinesthetic. I know I did it in your
Okay.
class already.
So yours was more hands-on kinesthetic. Yours you can take with you and figure out, right? So in the little questionnaire that you guys have, make sure that y'all see I've attached for y'all. You got a little bit more information on the second and third page there about if you're a visual learner, what that means, auditory and then kinesthetic.
a good group.
But the part that I really want y'all to pay attention to is the very like backside, right? Because this is the important part, right? It's not necessarily, one type of learning style isn't better than the other, right? If you're kinesthetic, that doesn't mean that you're any better than like a visual learner, right? So it's all about just kind of utilizing certain types of learning styles, which we have right here in front of us, based on what your specific learning style is, right? So you've got different clues there and different learning tips. So for like the visual learners, who were they again? Who were my visual? Okay, all right. So for you, a big tip, obviously you want to make sure you can see the information as much as possible.
Y'all better say
Right there, yeah, she's got glasses.
I gotta have my
There we
bifocals
go.
right.
Color code your notes, use flowcharts, diagrams, visualize like words or ideas. I know you were auditory, right? Anybody, and you, I think just you. So for you, you wanna, of course during class lectures, you wanna record your notes as much as possible so you can play them back later. For my kinesthetic learners, sometimes I'll admit classes aren't set up the best for kinesthetic learners, but you all wanna try to interact with the information as much as possible. Okay, and again, when you're studying for my kinesthetic learners, you guys wanna make sure no more than 30 minutes at the time before you kind of get up and take a little study break, walk around a little bit.
See me,
Okay.
I kinda like, even when I'm studying for
Just
like
maneuver you
kinesthetic, I
around.
just rewrite it just so I can have it in my mind.
Right.
Like, if I write it, then I remember it.
Yeah.
Right, oh yeah.
You
If you
should
do
be
it-
doing that all the time.
Yeah, I always do that.
And I think you'll give those to Miss Pam, the evaluation, okay?
Yeah, those
But
workshop
I
evaluations.
think all of y'all know where I am over in student services, but if y'all ever have any questions or need anything, y'all come find me, let me know. Again, make sure that you guys kind of look over just the little chart on the back based on what your style is, but, you know, and I would say too, even though all of us usually have kind of more a dominant style or a dominant couple styles, you know, the whole idea is really to kind of incorporate all three of them, because certain classes are gonna lots of times lean more toward one style than the other, so, so it's all about just kind of being flexible and being able to learn and perceive the information regardless of what your style is.
And I was gonna mention too, for the audio learners, if you don't have anything on your phone, we do have digital recorders that you can check out and use for the semester.
Well, thank y'all all for coming. I did want to share, make sure everybody does the evaluation. And just to share that the green sheet is our upcoming event. So we have a mentoring workshop. Rigoberto Castellanos is actually one of our former students that went on and graduated, went on UNCW and is actually now working. He's gonna be presenting. That's gonna be a good one, so y'all can mark your calendar for that. And then she has East Carolina, which is coming on November the 14th on Tuesday. So, if you haven't completed the application, go ahead and do that. That way you can be in. You don't have to come to the workshops all the time, just one or two. But then you'll be eligible, like, you go on culture trips. We have supplemental grant, we offer courses. We're basically here to help you be successful.
Almost up to
in your classes.
$1,000 for free.
Oh,
Now, if you're sitting there all day running your mouth, how can you get that?
No,
This true?
I be everywhere right now.
so
Yeah.
fill out the application if you
I
have
got
it, okay?
That's why I need to talk to
If
you.
you're in SSS, which we have two, right? You get a free calendar, so as soon as y'all fill yours out and put it in, you might get something.
We have the new ones too in 2018, so I'm ready to come back in 2018.
Get your applications to us today, okay? Any
Amber, thank you so much for coming.
questions? Thank you. Y'all want some cookies?
As good as you guys help yourself.
No, anybody wants cookies?
This is all the
Yeah, I gotta raise that.